A strong business starts with validation. Market research identifies demand, customer needs, and competitor gaps. Entrepreneurs can analyze industry reports, conduct surveys, and engage with online communities to refine their ideas. Social media and niche groups provide direct feedback on potential products or services. Developing a minimum viable product helps test a concept with minimal investment. The MVP should include essential features to gauge customer interest. Tracking key metrics such as customer acquisition costs and engagement rates determines viability. The business model canvas offers a flexible framework for structuring a business strategy. Unlike traditional plans, it allows quick iteration based on feedback. Entrepreneurs should also address legal considerations, including intellectual property protection and business structure selection. A step-by-step validation process, market research, MVP testing, business model refinement, and legal groundwork lays the foundation for a scalable, sustainable venture.
Ilana, you reinvented your own career from fighter pilot to tech entrepreneur to education founder. What's the first thing you advise someone to do when they're trying to validate a completely new idea?
Oh, I love this question. And thank you, Andy. So first of all, I love the idea of this show because we are, first of all, living in an era of portfolio careers. And people will have multiple streams of income, multiple ventures, and you don't have to know everything. Like you just need to try as fast as possible, and validate as close as possible to your clients. But if I may, Andy, I do have a funny story because sometimes we're so attached to our MVP and to the demo that we created or the idea that we had that we don't really listen to what the audience says. And if a short story about it, we actually had a company that my previous startup actually, that was supposed to be kind of a memory in your pocket. And I was really excited about the vision of it. And suddenly somebody on Facebook says, "Hey, I actually sold a house thanks to you." And I'm like, you have a typo. Like there's like no way with this app to sell a house. And it took some time to actually listen and to understand that there's medicine and there's vitamin. And I was creating a vitamin for others, but I was actually creating a medicine for a certain group that later, by the way, was acquired. So I think this is also like you want to create MVP, but don't attach to it. Like write it in pencil, as they say, because you might erase it and kind of latch onto what the audience is actually telling you.
Ilana, how do you know when to pivot quickly based on that feedback or sticking to your guns?
Test. I can't stress it enough. Like entrepreneurs, we have to be relentless in testing. And it is so fundamental to work fast, hustle, have a lot of chutzpah, as I call it. In my case, I actually found an incredible lady that was a real estate. I don't understand anything about real estate. So for me, this was a very unknown area. But she was leading a 30,000 people real estate group on Facebook. And I'm like, if I can get in front of her, she can help me test this if this is viable. And actually, and I found a way to, again, not pitch, but actually attract her to want to test this with me. And again, it's all about how do you create these connections and create this trust. And short story, she created like hundreds of people within minutes of, that want to test this out. And I was invited as a public speaker. This will, plan really well with your branding thing, but I was basically invited as a public speaker in Inman Connect, which is one of the biggest real estate conferences in the world. I don't know anything about real estate, but I was in the keynote right in front of the founder of Zillow and right after the CEO of DocuSign. And it looked like I actually know what I'm doing. So we were acquired. It was funny.
Nikki, what's your view on testing an idea? And can you leverage online communities and social media to help you do that?
Absolutely. So you need your beta testers. A lot of the technology companies, they want to test this feature or that feature, My job was to always break it. And so, you can break it so many times, with the things you may think of, but reach out to one of your community partners, and ask them. So I'll send a DM, hey, will you go to this site and will you try to break it? And by breaking it, like test this link, test that link, go log in here. And so I think that, and I would recommend to find those people that know this is what you're doing. You're going to try to break it. That's the goal. And then work around that, work backwards so that you end up having this product that's a little bit more solid before you go out to publish it to the real world.
James, the customers or the clients that you work with, are they testing those MVPs or do they already have that when they come to you?
We try to tell them that a dream without a plan is nothing more than a wish. So we do ask that they have some form of business plan direction that they're trying to move into. We use a simple one-page sort of summary format that's generally accepted as a plan without being too draconian or inflexible. There's no shortage of ideas with the entrepreneurs that I work with. The shortage is in the execution. So, we try to just deliver tools that they can use, like an Eisenhower matrix, and helping them to prioritize and separate the important from the urgent, to just kind of keep them on track with the execution of those ideas.
Yeah, and give us some insight when you work with those clients. How do you approach building operational systems that can support rapid experimentation and pivoting?
It's what we call scalable organization. We don't put the process in because those keep breaking the process at each inflection point as the business grows. 10 million, 20 million, 50 million. So we just try to bring to them some scalable organization that helps them begin to scale the business. And to recognize also that their ability to execute on what it is that they are feeling, sensing, and hearing from their audience.
Ilana, have there been times when you had to pivot like 180 degrees?
All the time, I feel. So yeah, first of all, in entrepreneurship, it's going to happen all the time, but honestly, in your career, you're going to pivot all the time. So I feel like moving from Air Force to executive to entrepreneurship to, I studied electric engineering. I am now running an education platform, which is one of the fastest growing private companies in America. It's like, all my life, I feel it was one big 180 degrees. And I think it's all about really tapping into what do you want? What can you serve? That amazing combination. It's true for entrepreneurship. It's true for your career. But what is that incredible combinations of your skills, what you're excited about, what makes you happy, fulfilled, what people are inspired by you? People are already intrigued by you. What is it for? By your app or by your company, whatever it is, people are already intrigued by something. What draws their attention? And if you can pull all of these together, it's just incredible. I think the hardest thing for us is to be honest with ourselves, honestly, Andy, and to really look in the mirror and say, what do I actually want to do next? What is the true thing? Not because society expects, not because I sold my company way too early. And the truth is I was sick and tired of it. Like, it sounds horrible to say it, but I wasn't inspired. And on the other hand, Leap Academy right now is my life. It's my dream. It's like, I can't envision doing anything else in my life. And it's just incredible to see thousands of people change and life and careers change all the time. And people figure out what they want to do next. And, so it's just incredible. Like, when you find that zone of genius, whether it's in a company or in your career, it's incredible the level of possibilities that you can open up for yourself. So,
and it sounds like no regrets selling too early.
Oh, no, it's the best decision I've ever done. And in fact, I chose it based on the people that didn't want me to stay there. So no, because when you're tapping into what you really is your zone of genius, everything shifts and your life changes and you find motivation to do the hard things and do it for your entrepreneurship, do it for your career. Like, keep finding that zone of genius, keep finding that thing that makes you unique. It's just everything.
Nikki, any story in your experience when early data told you to either double down or to walk away?
Well, I'm going to build off of Ilana, because when we started our company, the fintech ICG Pay, it was just another thing that we threw out in the world. We had started out with something we called MLS Atlas, where you could go and put a house on a map geographically, right, and find it. And then there was these details you could learn, like how many bedrooms there were, how many bathrooms, how much yard there was. We didn't know anybody, and we didn't have any money. And so we had to pass that, because that was such a big job. We had tested it and we just couldn't get enough people to join in. A couple years later, have you ever heard, I think you mentioned it earlier, Zillow? Yeah, that's not us. So, some dreams, people said that's the stupidest idea, to put a QR code in front of someone's house on a sign for them to scan. They're not going to do that because, 18 years ago, we didn't have that kind of technology on our phones. But my husband's like pretty forward thinking. Didn't work. And then there was this other idea that we had. It was fantastic. We have 5 kids. And so we would go to restaurants and there was always this huge wait. We're like, wouldn't it be great if you could go onto a website and get a reservation, pick what time you want to eat, what you put the allergies in or whatever. And then you show up and you know what time you're supposed to eat. Again, we didn't know anybody. We didn't have any money. So we dropped that idea. Have you heard of Open Table? Not us. So I tell you that some ideas are great, but they're just not for you. Maybe you're not in that right community. But with ICG, we still didn't have any money, but we knew bankers. We had some good connections within the check world, we thought, what if we could get a check online, like credit cards? And at that time, people, they weren't really excited about paying with a credit card online. And at that time, you remember when you had to stick a disc in to update something on the computers? Well, the idea was to go and make it virtually where we could update it. And that was mind blown, And so with the evolution of that, people were like, so now I'm paying with a credit card online and a check online called ACH. This is crazy. But then we kept spreading it and it worked, and we doubled down, we had more staff and technology. And over time, now we're doing SMS messages where you pay by your phone. And it was just, we had to see what was the market open for. So I think that when you're having an idea, I would recommend that, it's your community is going to help you to test it. Is it something that those people are going to get behind you? And if not, find someone that will, or pivot and find, what is it that people around you need, and then go forward with that.
James, what's your advice for entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed by a perfect business plan myth?
I would say, don't squeeze the baby too tight, you'll choke it, right? So part of what we like to do is, look, social media has leveled the playing field, right? Why build something you want to build? Why not build something that the people want and need? And you could listen to it, as it is on social media. You could test it in social listening as well. So, there's a lot of people who have some great ideas, but it's simply not easier than what we're currently doing. It's not easier. It's not faster. So, this is why we're still tapping and swiping credit cards. Nobody has come up with something that is easier than that at this point in time. So, it still looks like that when you're at the point of retail. So, you can't get too passionate about the idea. The entrepreneurs that are solving real issues are the ones that I see that have the most success. Even in the 2 examples that Nikki gave, Resi was incubated inside of the VaynerMedia hallways before it sold to American Express. They were solving an issue. People can't get into popular restaurants, and they wanted to find a way to do that. So I think if you can lean into ideas that solve concerns and issues that happen right now. Look, Uber is a time management system. It just happened to be rolled out first with, transit and delivery service, but it saves time. That's what it does. And now it's going to keep getting applied to more and more things because it continues to save time. And that's the only thing that we don't have enough of.
Don't squeeze the baby too tight.
I love
I love that advice. All right, let's go to segment 2.